friends. How we doing? It is Wednesday, October 22nd, and this is the Chris and Amy Show until 12 o'clock today. Then it's the Gas House Gang, Tom Ackerman and me. We'll talk some sports then. 314-436-7900, our phone number. Text messages, you can reach out to us that way, too, with that same number. Odyssey app. You can listen there and send us voice messages directly from the app. Super simple. So do it. Let us hear your voice. You can also watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji today. Hello.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, I guess they're still out to get my sheriff, even though they've already got him.
I thought he was in jail already.
An audit shows that the city sheriff's office over $800,000 over the budget. Over $800,000 over budget. I think that's money well spent.
He hasn't even been there that long. And a new study is showing that peanut allergies are plummeting in kids in the United States. There are reasons why. This is also coming on the heels of some new revelations about how we've treated the peanut young child relationship. We are going to chat with Jordan Kowalski-Gorman, a licensed pediatric specialist.
And the Blues lose to the Kings in overtime last night in the return of John Kelly.
And then Kepe, they cross. Seam pass, Kepe shoots, and he scores! Kepe wins it! Kings in overtime. Goodbye, good night, game over.
Well, there he is from Kings Television, John Kelly, the former Blues announcer, getting to call a Kings winner at home in overtime. So it was nice hearing a JK overtime winner. Just happens to be for the wrong team now. But anyway, that was a fine welcome back for him. And he got a video tribute last night, as we expected.
It was really, really nice. And St. Louis loves John Kelly. And the video tribute was really special, just going back through the whole history of the Kelly family, John Kelly, him in the Stanley Cup finals. And because the television at that point in the playoffs switches to national coverage. So John Kelly wasn't doing every game, but Chris Kerber had John Kelly jump in with him occasionally and call a period on the radio broadcast, which was awesome. And then, of course, with the St. Louis Blues when they win the Stanley Cup, I got to chat with John yesterday at the game and just see how he's doing. And he's enjoying LA, having a great time. He said he considers himself really fortunate to be with the LA Kings broadcast team. His family was there. His daughters were in town. One daughter's in Boston. Another daughter is in New York. So they flew in. They were hanging out to see their dad in his return to St. Louis. I said, okay, well, the Kelly family, you guys are in some pretty fun cities right now. LA, Boston, New York. And the daughter said, yeah, except dad moved across the country.
That's right.
He goes, mom and dad moved as far away as they could from us. But it was good to chat with him. And, up there in the press box, seeing John Kelly just saying hi to everybody, getting hugs from people, because he does. He'll always be part of the Blues family here.
So it was a very cool night for him and for the Kings. Unfortunately for the Blues, it did not work out. Amy, what'd you do wrong? I feel like ever since you started this new Blues thing and you're bringing back your hockey crap, that all you've done is bring bad will upon them.
Really?
Bad luck. Look
See,
at
I feel
them.
like Hockey Amy came back and then they had that huge turnaround last year.
No,
made it to the playoffs.
You started the season with Hockey Amy.
Yeah.
And it's not going as well as
I think it's going okay. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
It's going mid?
No. I'm not worried at all. This is a good team. And like I said, last night's loss was tougher than the 5-0 loss at home, tougher than the 8-3 loss at home, because when you have big blowout losses like that, those are anomalies. They're not illustrative of what the team is. Last night, when you lose a close game like that, and it really didn't even, it shouldn't have been that close. Jordan Binnington stood on his head. It could have easily gotten out of hand much quicker.
For the hockey moron, stood on his head means he had a great game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that contribution.
Yeah.
I feel like in context, they could have figured it out. But at any rate, he did stand on his head, and it kept the Blues in the game. And last night's game really exposed some issues. I will say this, Ranj, Coach Jim Montgomery is not happy. He's pretty direct with it.
He does kind of sound like he's tired of this crap.
He's pretty crabby about
Right?
it. Yeah, I mean, like when Monday, I don't know if you heard. Did we play that audio? Tom Ackerman played the audio.
I don't think we got to it yesterday. We were going to, and
That's
then
right.
Other things happened.
He was pretty direct. This is him after Monday's practice.
Practice wasn't great. Why not? You want to know the real reason, or you want to know a politically correct reason? Politically correct reason is we get happy after we win hockey games, and we don't practice the right way. The real reason? Not telling.
And that was kind of the vibe last night. Jimmy Snuggerud, the Blues rookie, played, I think, one shift in the third period. He was asked, why didn't Snuggie see the ice in the third period? And Jim Montgomery said he wasn't skating. He wasn't checking. And it wasn't his night. He said the Blues need an attitude change. And so he was very direct. Sometimes you're not used to hearing coaches be that forthcoming, but he was. And this is just the beginning of the season. They're working out some things. I'm not worried. They're good. They're a good team.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
He says that they are not practicing well.
Mhm.
How much of that is on him? I mean, doesn't he kind of have to correct that? And is that what he's doing right now by calling them out in the press?
So it's an attitude thing. He actually brought up and said, what we're seeing now is what we saw last year with the attitude and the effort that he wasn't happy with. It's the same thing with baseball. Managers can manage, but players got to play. He can design the practices. He can say what he wants out of the players, but ultimately only the players can give you that. So for whatever reason, he is not seeing that from this squad right now. They have it in them. We saw it when they made it to the playoffs. We saw it against Winnipeg. We saw it in that, 14-game winning streak? Can't remember the number now. In that winning streak. So I'm
12.
not sure why. You're right. It was 12. I'm not sure why they're getting off to such a slow start. And that's the way he put it. We didn't show up on time.
Well,
but at any rate,
it's about time for you to get your act together.
Well, I'm pulling it together tonight. It's Wednesday. Tonight, 6 p.m. Offside hockey with Curbs and Amy, Matrix Midwest. Tonight, Wednesday, 6 p.m. So you want to hear more hockey. In the meantime.
Well, Matt Pajeski is deathly allergic to peanuts.
Yes.
And so I like to flirt with danger. I like to have peanut items here in this office, here in this room.
That's okay.
I just want to see. I just want to see how far we can push it. Well, apparently there is a decrease in peanut allergies, and there might be a way that you can help prevent your child from becoming allergic to peanuts.
In the year 2000, the American Academy of Pediatricians recommended not giving peanuts to infants for fear of allergies. It was later discovered that, in fact, that was causing an estimated 80% of the allergies because the bodies were learning to treat peanuts as a foreign object. The explosion in allergies was driven by the bad piece of advice, which was itself based on nothing. I asked Dr. Anthony Fauci about this back in 2019.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, now believes that telling families to eliminate peanuts actually made things worse. Was that an error?
I didn't make the recommendation.
You didn't.
That's for sure. I wouldn't say it was an error. I think what it was a judgment call that in the retrospect was the wrong call.
So that wrong call, 17 years later, was reversed by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, recommending you now expose infants to peanuts early so that they get used to it, generate an allergy. Now we have the first study showing the impact of this exposure. Already, you've got a 40% decline in peanut allergies. Peanuts have gone from the number one most allergenic food, most kids affected, to number two. Eggs are now above it. This is the beginning of a major change. The reason I say it hasn't enough responsibility has not been claimed is because most caregivers in the latest survey still don't expose their kids to peanuts early on because they're remembering that earlier piece of bad medical advice. The American Academy of Pediatrics, they need to be out front, like loudly beating the drum on this, because clearly, as this new study shows, it's written up in the Times today, it can make a massive difference.
So that's audio from CBS. And it's interesting because when we come back, we have a licensed pediatric feeding specialist, Jordan Kowalski Gorman, who will talk to us about what the right thing to do is, and what's next as all these peanut allergies apparently are on the decline.
Which is insane. That's what I'm excited to talk to her, because as Tony DeCupo pointed out, that recommendation was based on nothing.
Jordan, we'll get to her next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It makes a big difference who's actually interpreting the mammogram images that you get. We make sure that we have an expert team of breast radiologists that specialize in reading mammograms to be sure that we can get you the most accurate read possible.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh Radner, and I am so excited to tell you about How We Made Your Mother, a rewatch podcast looking back at How I Met Your Mother. And I'm here with Craig Thomas, who co-created the show along with Carter Bays. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Josh. Somehow it has been 20 years since the show premiered. I'm going to check the math on that. 10 years since it went off the air, and we thought that made this a perfect time to look back, see what the hell we did and why the show still seems to resonate with fans around the world today.
Follow and listen to How We Made Your Mother wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken, and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, will be hosting his Taxes in Retirement seminar at his office in Chesterfield on October 28th. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will not only cover the hurdles you'll face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
You know, I wouldn't say it was an error. I think what it was a judgment call that in the retrospect was the wrong call.
That is the voice of Dr. Anthony Fauci speaking about a recommendation that's been rather long-standing about avoiding peanuts and other allergens with your young children. Well, now there's a reverse on that theory. So it seems that introducing peanuts earlier on in your toddler's eating habits could actually avoid peanut allergies or help prevent them. And joining us now is a licensed pediatric feeding specialist, as well as a licensed speech language pathologist and founder of Eat, Play, Say, Jordan Kovaleski Gorman. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So the clip we played earlier and then also just now with Tony DeCouple and CBS News, and he spoke with Dr. Fauci about, hey, aren't you supposed to avoid peanuts, keep peanuts away from your young kids? That advice was, to quote Tony DeCouple, based on nothing. What do you make of this reversal and even of the initial recommendation?
Yeah, so as dating back as far as like 2015, there was a LEAP study that started to show that, hey, the earlier we introduce these top allergens, especially peanuts, to babies starting solids between the ages of 4 months and 10 months, we're actually able to decrease the risk of them developing food allergies later in life by up to 80%. That was really the first big study that really looked at introducing those top allergens and gave us good data for recommendations.
I'll just say this, it doesn't feel surprising, partly because one of my good friends is from Israel, where peanut allergies basically do not exist. And she would always tell me about these puffs called mambas, like peanut puffs. And she said, we, give our kids mambas in the same way that Americans give their kids Cheerios. There's always the little plastic bowl of Cheerios that the toddlers are chewing on when they're first learning to eat. And she said these mambas are probably a big reason why peanut allergies don't exist in that entire country.
Yes, I agree. And now there's also peanut puffs in the United States. I've recommended them to clients, to parents on Instagram as a safe way to get peanuts in, because when parents hear, oh, introduce peanuts, they think, oh my gosh, choking risk. I'm going to give a whole peanut to my 4-month-old. No. You can give them those puffs. You can water down peanut butter and give it to them. But along with other trends, we're finding out that the earlier we intervene, the earlier we give these top allergens, the better off littles are later in life.
So we are seeing that the allergies to peanuts are on the decline. Why is it happening, and just how much of a decline is there?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So the recommendation really changed in the AAP in 2017. And researchers have said that we're shocked that we're already seeing a decrease in the amount of allergens in littles from this recommendation that's not even 10 years old. And I think it has a lot to do with influencers like myself, educational professionals, and also pediatricians reading up on the new recommendations and giving better recommendations to parents instead of, hey, wait until toddlerhood to introduce. And they're seeing that one study that just came out said over 20% decrease already in just 7 years.
Okay, so let's say you're a parent now of a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, or a 4-year-old, that older toddler age. Will you know if they have a peanut allergy by now? Is it too late to introduce peanuts or some type of peanut puff to them?
It's never too late to introduce if they've never come in contact with peanuts, which if they've been in a play group or been in pretty much any public setting where other kids are having snacks, they likely have been exposed somehow. But I understand parents are concerned. Typically within 20 minutes of eating a food, you're going to see an allergic reaction. So that is also something where parents are just be on lookout for the first 30 minutes after offering them. But if you're not consistently introducing allergens to your little one when starting solids or in early toddlerhood, now is definitely the time to start.
So I had not ever heard of a feeding specialist until we had you on as a guest. And I know that's closely tied in with speech pathology. It's all not one and the same, but they are very closely related to each other. Can you explain to people what that is for those who don't know?
Sure. So being a speech language pathologist, we wear many hats, and one of them is you can get specialized in feeding. So not every SLP is a feeding specialist, but I used to work in a rehab hospital with babies and toddlers with feeding difficulties, starting solids, swallowing issues, breast and bottle. So if you're an occupational therapist or a speech language pathologist, you can get extra certification, extra training to really be able to guide and provide feeding support to littles.
You know, right now, even though these new guidelines have been introduced and as you mentioned, backed by science, backed by data. I mean, we had Dr. Fauci saying, well, I never recommended it. And, you shouldn't do that. And it is what it is, unfortunately. But only about 29% of pediatricians and about 65% of allergists reported following the new guidance issued in 2017. Now, this is a survey, so a self-reported survey. Do you feel like that lag is correct? Is that what you're seeing? And why is there a lag then among pediatricians to comply with the new guidance and suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, I do see, especially I feel with older pediatricians who are used to making the same recommendations, they're a little slower to come with the new recommendations, with the new research. And I also feel like if you're looking at the studies that have been done, it's still very new. So there's a lot of trepidation as to, can we apply this, what we learned from the study, to all populations? Or do we really need more data? And I think truthfully, pediatricians don't want to say, hey, yes, give your baby an allergen, and then all of a sudden they have an allergic reaction and now they don't have trust with that patient. So I think as we use this study that recently came out to make more studies, to look at more top allergens, we can get more people on board and hopefully continue to decrease the risk of developing food allergies later. Yeah,
we're talking about that lag and why something like this does take time. It doesn't make sense for the medical community to just sort of, wait as more information comes in, as opposed to saying one day, okay, everybody, you should introduce your baby to peanuts now, and then a year from now there's new research that says, well, maybe we shouldn't do that, so hold off on that. Does it make sense to be prudent in doing that and just sort of waiting until more information is available?
I think the fact that we didn't have any information before, and now this is the information that we have, and it is already showing a significant decrease in the risk for food allergies, we should continue to follow what we do know, which is this. These recommendations have also been in place since 2017. So that's also a large chunk of time. It's not like this came out yesterday and we're hearing it for the first time. It's just that we now have data saying, okay, what happened in 2017 and what's happening now? Oh, wow, we're seeing a huge decrease. This obviously means something.
Well, it's really, really interesting. And I know this is not your specialty because with focusing on pediatric feeding, eating, and pathology, speech pathology. What about adults who are older, who have like all these really serious peanut allergies? Is it it is too late for them?
It might be. An allergist would definitely be the best person to talk to about that. And we know that allergies really co-occur. So sometimes if they have peanut, they'll also have wheat or egg or something else. But it doesn't mean that maybe they can't work with a nutritionist or an allergist to try to decrease the intolerance or work those back in. But it's kind of like learning a new language, right? You want to get that in early. If you waited too long, might not be able to reverse it.
That's too bad. Our producer, Matt, is he's highly allergic to peanuts.
Yeah.
And so is it Matt, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, am I allowed to give my parents some flack for not introducing me to an allergy or to this allergen at such a young age?
I think you can totally place that burden on them. Yes,
right.
totally.
It's their fault. Yeah. Thank you.
Good. They should feel a little shame. Oh, I like that. Jordan, is there any last bit of advice you think we should give parents as we say goodbye?
Yeah, I just want to encourage parents to introduce those allergens early. We actually have a freebie on our website, eplaysay.com/allergens, where you can download for free how to safely introduce the top 9 allergens to your baby. Please don't wait. I know it's hard, but once you dive into starting solids and giving those allergens and seeing how they're doing so well, you'll get the confidence to keep going.
EatPlaySay.com is the website. Jordan Kowalski-Gorman, licensed pediatric feeding specialist and speech language pathologist. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it's too bad it's too late for Matt.
I know.
And I'm a ginger on top of it.
Oh, God. Do you have anything going for you?
No, I don't.
Oh, man.
Are those two things related somehow?
I want to say maybe there's something to do with fair-skinned people, red hair, and allergies. I think they just go hand in hand. Don't you think?
You think so?
I think
Is
so.
it Kevin a redhead? Not
Yeah.
allergic
Kevin
to
is
anything.
Yeah, he's not allergic to anything.
I don't know. I can have it. I'm fine.
I refuse to be allergic to it.
Yeah. I refuse to be allergic to it.
He rejects it. I think you might be the anomaly, Matt. You might be the one redhead with the soul to have an allergy.
Well, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm surprised I don't have other allergies to wheat or eggs or dairy.
But
or
you
things
do
like that.
though, right? Aren't you cashew?
Well, yeah, other nuts, peanuts, cashews, Brazil nuts. But she was saying that you could be allergic to wheat as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. They go hand in hand.
I know we need to break. I do think it is weird. Like, how are you allergic to cashews, Brazil nuts, and peanuts, but not almonds and walnuts?
And pecans. I think they're part of a different family. I think one's a tree nut, one's a legume or something like that. I really don't know.
Legume.
A legume.
That's right.
Yeah.
I almost watched my friend die once because he developed a legume allergy out of nowhere. We had no idea.
Even beans?
So we were
Because beans are legumes.
We were
Wow.
Oh gosh, we were watching a friend of ours. It was an open mic playing guitar or something, and he was hungry. And one of our other friends had just come from work and had a backpack with he had a bag of mixed nuts. And he said, "Oh, here, try these." And the dude's throat closed up in front of us.
Oh no.
We had to get him to the hospital. It was awful. And he didn't have it before. That's the thing that's scary to me, is that you can later in life just develop an allergy out of nowhere. I know another guy that developed an allergy to cayenne pepper. And so he was eating hot wings at a bar once, and just his throat closed up suddenly. It had never happened to him before, which that kind of thing terrifies me.
So
I hope that doesn't happen to me.
No, geez, Louise. Put it
Yeah.
on your list of things to be afraid of.
Well, I'm also not afraid. Afraid's not the word, but I am just done with lists. I am done with rankings. And we got a ranking yesterday that's just completely
But
ridiculous.
the people have spoken.
And the people have spoken, and I am not alone, though I feel very alone.
You're kind of alone. That's the point.
We'll tell you what all of this is about when we come back. Chris Adami on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Never predictable, always entertaining. Dave Glover, now celebrating 25 years.
First time I was on the Dave Glover show, I felt like after just 30 seconds that we knew each other for years. The guy is awesome. And we've done a couple of things together here at Bissinger's. I mean, he is just a staple in St. Louis, and he is someone that I've absolutely been so grateful to get to know and be a guest.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 p.m. on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sponsored by Law Office of Susan L. Ward.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Let the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra take you on a journey through the Nordic countryside at Prokofiev and Sibelius from dark to light on October 24th and 25th. The SLSO performs Sibelius's sweeping Second Symphony, and renowned violinist Augustin Hadovich joins to dazzle on Prokofiev's Second Violin Concerto. Led by rising star conductor Tabita Berglund, performances take place at the newly reopened Powell Hall October 24th and 25th. Tickets at slso.org.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 50 beautiful degrees outside, breezy with plenty of sunshine, a high of 65. Tonight, clear and chilly with a low of 42.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has brought cheers to their fans for decades with the best styles, cutting-edge tech, and good old family values. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Hi, Debbie Monterey with Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, you've been helping families for more than 22 years with your guarantees, your buyers in waiting program, and you were telling me that between now and the end of the year is a good time to sell. Can you share why?
Always good to see you. When it comes to timing, the spring and fall selling season have historically been the most active. However, due to raised home value and affordability, this market still has lots of sellers and buyers on the sidelines. Fact is, between now and year end is a great time to discuss the sale of your home. I have guaranteed sale program solutions for every situation, including instant multiple cash offers, 100% market value, or my trusted guarantee sale program, where I'll sell your home at our agreed upon price, or I will buy it myself.
Sounds like a plan. The time is now. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com, GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date. Your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected. Your floor mats are cleaned and delivered. And your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter just around the corner, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Chris and Amy on 104.1 FM KMOX. And I was going to tell you about this list, but we'll get to that in a second, because we're going to pivot here. We have a very special phone call, we believe.
Hello.
314-436-7900, by the way. We are told that Judy in Kirkwood is with us, and Judy happens to be Matt Pajeski's preschool teacher.
What?
Is first of all, Judy, is Matt cutting class to work here, or what's going on?
Yeah, that really is it. No, he was an ideal student. The thing is, Matthew made sure he wouldn't eat any snacks because he was so afraid the kids' parents were sending him. He was an A+ student in preschool and also in youth group at church. So
that's right. Thank you, Judy. That's
Judy,
very nice.
hold on. Judy, were you giving out grades in preschool?
Pass, fail. No,
Pass,
only teasing.
Did everybody get an A+?
Well, really, it was only Matthew, but I gave the other ones A's.
Well, thank you for passing me, and thank you for keeping me safe all these years from peanuts.
Matthew, you are so welcome. See you at church.
See you at church.
Oh my gosh.
That was adorable.
Adorable. Thank you, Judy.
I didn't have a single run-in with the allergy until I was probably 24, 25. So she and my family and myself kept away from those peanuts for over 20 years.
That's impressive.
Did you ever get on an airplane?
Yeah. Yeah, I never had a problem with it. And I think some airlines started phasing out the peanut snack.
They do. I don't get, you never get peanuts. You get sometimes
pretzels
like a pretzel,
and like crackers or something.
Sometimes a good ginger cookie or a Chex Mixie without peanuts.
It is kind of scary to think that you're in this airtight tube and there are peanuts everywhere and I can't do anything about it. Can't land the plane.
Oh, poor man. Yeah. You're okay. We'll protect you in this room. Okay, buddy.
50% of us will protect you. The other 50% likes to see chaos.
Well, I just want to see how far we can push it.
He's never seen an EpiPen used before.
I just want to see how far we can push it.
Hey, this ranking for St. Louis, Ranj.
Yeah, Zumper is a rental marketplace.
Yeah.
And they did a ranking of the best city for singles in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And by singles, we mean single people,
Yes.
not the cheese. And they say that St. Louis is number one.
Which is
St. Louis is the best city in the country for singles.
outstanding.
So
Outstanding.
we talked about this yesterday, and they use a bunch of factors like cost of renting and the percentage of single people per capita and nightlife and all kinds of stuff, right? And I am just going to tell you that there are some good nightlife spots in St. Louis, and yes, the rent is cheap, relatively speaking, to other places, but best in the country for single people.
You know, they were looking at the
dude.
city proper, which you're going to have, more single people in the city. Because what do? You get married and move to the suburbs. You're going to have more baseball, soccer, hockey games, clubs, whatever it is in a city. You also have the hospitals right here, the universities right here. So it's going to be disproportionate, but I think the numbers are a little deceiving.
Yeah.
The comments
on the Fox 2 Instagram page, they put the story up, and some of the comments are echoing exactly what I'm talking about. Comments like this, best city for singles to what? Die alone? Or, I mean, it's true. It's the best place to be single, like for the rest of your life. This is not a good single
Another
city.
one. My therapist literally told me if I want to find someone to marry, I need to move out of St. Louis.
This list is so stupid. I will never use Zumper or whatever in the hell it's called ever, because I know that they clearly don't know the area. They don't know what it's like to live here. And I am telling you right now, most people in this area, by the time they're 25, are already locked up. And I mean locked up for good. That's just they
in jail.
It's like locked up in a relationship.
Oh,
like an engagement or a marriage already. It's almost like people graduate from Mizzou or Missouri State, and as soon as they cross the stage, they're given a fiance, and then they come back to St.
Do you
Louis.
want a diploma or
and then
a
they
fiance?
you get both. You get a diploma and a fiance. You come back to St. Louis, and you're married in 2 years.
Here's another comment. Best city for singles. What does that even mean for people who want to be single?
Yeah. Or this comment, it says, I'm pretty sure you meant to say best city to stay single.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and all these comments, I know.
Because you will remain single for your life. I mean, all of the comments are hilarious.
Every single comment, for the most part, is, what is this list? This list is so dumb. There's no way St. Louis is that good for single people. It just isn't.
Here's another one. The Midwest in general is pretty rough, LOL.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay in the Midwest and go to a place that's good for single people, you're moving to Chicago. That's really the only good. You think Kansas City is better than here? Probably not. I doubt Cincinnati or Indianapolis are great for singles. Maybe Nashville, maybe. But I would think that you would move to Chicago unless you're not considering that one of the Midwestern cities.
Does Chicago consider itself Midwest?
There's a debate about that.
Really?
I think it is. Some people call it a northern city, but I don't know. I think it's Midwest. Don't you?
Oh, of course it's Midwest.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if Chicagoans thought they were too cool for that moniker.
No, I think some people think it is Midwest. Some people think it's North. The bottom line is most people do not come here because, wow, where can I go? I'm single. I'm 24, 25. What's the best city for me to go to just really live it up? To live it up? I am moving to Maplewood. No, I'm not doing that.
I love it. Love it.
So the government shutdown is ongoing, and it is affecting and really starting to affect all kinds of people around the country and here locally. Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski from the 13th District in Illinois will join us next to discuss on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks. copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, kingdomox.com/events.
Hey Dave, it's Tamara, the flavor temptress, and your good friend from Clementine's Ice Cream. I just wanted to say congratulations on 25 years. Not only are you the sexiest man in daytime radio, but you're probably the only man with the best looking feet. Here's to the next 25. Cheers to you, my friend.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust, someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds River's Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
More and more now I'm hearing when all my customers that are calling and setting up appointments for looking at different types of furnace and air conditioners, they're calling in because of all the years that I've said there is a common sense approach, and they want to see what that is. Well over 95% of the people are very happy that they did call me. I'm not saying that they purchased anything from me, but they're extremely happy that they did call me. It's not being cheaper. It's being explained in such a way to where they can make an honest decision for themselves and their family and what's best for their pocketbook. When you start getting prices for new furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Chris and Amy on 104.1 FM KMOX. Time to go back to the guest line this morning. And joining us is the Congresswoman from the 13th District in Illinois, just across the river, representing a large part of that area. Nikki Budzinski is with us on KMOX. Good morning, Congresswoman. How are you?
I am okay. Good morning to both of you.
So we talked to you this morning as we are well into this government shutdown, which is over 20 days now. Where do we stand, and when do you think this is going to be over? Because we have heard rumblings that maybe it ends this week or maybe within a week. What are you hearing?
Well, I hope that to be the case. We want to end this shutdown immediately. I think what it's going to require is Republicans and Democrats coming to the table to discuss how to reopen government. And for Democrats, we have really been calling out, drawing a line in the sand around increased costs related to healthcare. We saw this coming out of the big ugly bill, I refer to it, that passed a few months ago, cutting Medicaid very deeply by almost $1 trillion. But we also know we're up against a big deadline on December 31st, where in my district, about 14,000 constituents rely on the ACA tax credits to make ACA affordable. We'd like to see those extended. That's really what we're saying. We want to, Republicans to address this manufactured healthcare crisis that I would argue is a lot of their own making. And then let's reopen government. Let's get a full federal budget done. Let's get all of the services back up and running for the taxpayers in my district.
With this government shutdown, certain essential services like Medicare, Medicaid will continue and so forth, because not everything can be shut down. I was a little surprised then when I saw that SNAP benefits could end. I guess this is less about the shutdown itself, but the ramification of the shutdown being that the budget is not furthered as well.
Yeah, well, I would just say that's a really good point. It's not just SNAP is going to run out of funding because we haven't funded the program at the end of this month, but also I want to mention WIC, which is the Women, Infant, and Children's Program. Also provides a lot of provides food security to families that are in need. Both of those programs, November 1st is going to be a really important date where we will see, and there are indications from the federal government to the state that those benefits are not going to be there. I would just say I was in Alton 2 days ago visiting with a number of nonprofits that provide support to seniors in our community. And SNAP is, yes, definitely about making sure we don't have children going hungry in this country. But I really want to emphasize this is also critically important for our seniors. So to your point, this is exactly why we have to reopen government. We have to make sure SNAP and WIC are there. For those that are living on fixed incomes or working and need a little assistance to get by.
We want to talk to you about air traffic controllers that are impacted by this in just a moment. But I want to go back to the original fight here between Democrats and Republicans when it comes to this issue and why this is happening. And you mentioned the cuts to Medicaid and Medicare, and some people are arguing for those cuts, saying, well, they're just trimming fat. That's all that's happening here. Can you clear that up? Is that true? Is it just fat that's being trimmed, or are people being kicked out when they don't deserve to be?
They're being kicked out. These are cuts that go right down to the bone. From Medicaid, I think one of the things that's a bunch of misinformation that's out there is, they like to paint the picture that the Medicaid recipient is just the kid in his parents' basement, playing video games. That could not be further from the truth. These are a lot of people, 64% of people that have to rely on Medicaid to provide health care to a disabled child, to a senior that is in need of health care. These are folks that are largely working. 64% of those on Medicaid are working. Medicaid also is an important lifeline, again, to those that are disabled, living independently in their home. It provides that home care service to them that otherwise they would be looking at things like institutional support, moving seniors into assisted living facilities when they want to remain at home. Those are the critical support, and those are the dollars that Medicaid helps to fund. This is not about waste, fraud, and abuse. And I know that's a political tagline that my Republican colleagues like to use, but they have yet to point to one meaningful thing that really, elevates this issue around efficiency. I am looking for efficiency in government, no doubt about it, looking to save taxpayer dollars, but cutting Medicaid when our healthcare system really relies on it in order to keep our rural hospitals open, the community health centers. Medicaid is an integral part to the budgets of these healthcare providers, and people are going to be going if these things all play out. And we know that these Medicaid cuts that were in the Big Ugly Bill don't really take hard effect until 2027, 2028. But when I talk to hospitals in my district, these cuts to Medicaid, they have to make budget decisions now as they project out what they're going to be looking at in the years to come. So I am very worried, and it really is concerning to me that Republicans are trying to scapegoat this as something that looks like fat. It is not fat. This is a lifeline for so many people in my district.
I know you have been out in your district talking to members of the community. How is the shutdown specifically affecting veterans?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think one of the things that's really important to mention is that, healthcare as it relates to the VA, that is still something, even in a government shutdown, veterans can get the healthcare that they need. They can go to the VA hospital. We've got a great one in St. Louis, obviously. Also things like the suicide hotline, the 988 line for veterans, that is still fully operational. So I want to emphasize that there is care that is still out there and operational during a shutdown. But what there isn't is some of our regional offices for veterans. One of the things that my office helps to facilitate is when a veteran has a concern around a VA benefit, a disability claim, we reach out to these regional offices, we reach out to the VA, and we are definitely seeing within agencies across the federal government, including the VA, a slowdown in response or a lack of response. That's where it's hurting our veterans. And it's the same for things like Social Security and Medicare. When we want to be able to reach into the federal government to ask these questions for constituents, it's just a very slower response rate, which hurts, our ability to provide these benefits to folks.
Also, you did recently speak with some air traffic controllers, and that's a hugely important job. What are you hearing from them?
Well, it's a very stressful job. And I would say even before the shutdown, one of the things that we've been talking about is how understaffed a lot of our towers are, which I think is certainly, very concerning. I know that the Secretary of Transportation has put forward some plans to reinvest in our towers and reinvest in the workforce. That's something that I would be very supportive of. We need safe air travel. And in order to ensure that, we need to be supporting those air traffic controllers that are right now in a shutdown, expected to go to work and work without pay to continue to see our air travel, be uninterrupted during this government shutdown. That's a lot to ask of the workforce. And that workforce is already under a lot of pressure, as I mentioned, understaffing, kind of forced overtime hours. And it's a very stressful job in its best conditions. So, I'm hoping we can get to addressing some of these concerns, not only just during the shutdown, but after the shutdown. I think there's needed investment in our air travel.
As we say goodbye, I wanted to ask you, are there any Republicans that you have been able to talk to, Republicans and Democrats that are reaching across the aisle that are frustrated with those who aren't budging?
Yeah, we do. I sit down with Republican colleagues very regularly. Since the shutdown, though, I will say, I was in and out and have been in and out of Washington, ready to be a part of any conversations. And my Republican colleagues have been at home, which makes those conversations really difficult. And for a lot of this shutdown, leadership is really what we need. We need Speaker Mike Johnson to bring his Republican colleagues back to D.C. to get to conversations. He's been resistant to asking them to come back to Washington. But I think one of the impediments to us making progress in reopening government is we're not all in D.C. We need to be there, I think, to be able to sit across from each other, have those conversations, and reopen the government for the American people.
Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski, representing parts of Illinois, Edwardsville, Granite City, Alton, all the way up to Champaign. We appreciate your time as always. Thank you for talking with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me again. It was great to be with you.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Hour 2 of 3 gets started next.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It is 10:01 and we've got sunshine, 51 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Alfred Montgomery is still the acting sheriff of the city of St. Louis, even though he is behind bars right now. He has a trial date of November 18th in the Quo Warranto case against him. And there's a lot of confusion over who could name his replacement if he resigns. We asked our KMOX legal analyst, Brad Young.
Generally speaking, vacancies for the office of sheriff are governed by state law. But it says that if the sheriff's office is vacant, then that vacancy shall be filled by a county commission. Well, St. Louis City is not in a county, and so there is no county commission. The closest thing we have to that would be the Board of Aldermen.
Young says the governor's office claims they have the power to appoint the replacement.
But specifically under state law, it allows the governor to fill all vacancies of elected officials when they're vacant, except for the sheriff. It's specifically listed in the statute as being an exception.
A judge in Chicago is hearing arguments over an order that blocks the National Guard from deployment in Illinois. That order expires tomorrow. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman is following the latest on how the Trump administration is moving forward.
A big part of it is that they have appealed to the Supreme Court here. They're expecting a decision imminently. And so what they say is that they're willing to wait for the Supreme Court to weigh in. They're willing to give this 30-day extension because they don't think anything more should be happening with these proceedings in the meantime. They say this will allow the district court proceedings to happen in an orderly way. It will give the Supreme Court time to review this. They don't think there needs to be any more discovery or briefing here.
An appeals court recently allowed Trump to deploy troops to Portland. A plane carrying Australia's prime minister had to make an unscheduled landing in St. Louis last night after a meeting with President Trump at the White House. There was nothing wrong with the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, or the plane, but a crew member needed hospital care after something from an overhead bin hit the person in the head. From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Why are beef prices so high?
It's actually a perfect storm for hitting us in our pocketbooks.
KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz says part of it is lack of grazing lands in the Midwest and the West due to multi-year drought. Katz says the price of hay for feeding cattle is extremely high, and that has ranchers thinning the herds.
Right now, there are a lot of farmers who are actually putting their heifers up for sale rather than try to pay for them to keep going until they can have calves.
Plus, he says importing beef is harder due to disease concerns and tariffs. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Plenty of sunshine and breezy this afternoon with a high of 65, then clear and chilly tonight. Those ranging from 36 in the coldest suburbs to 42 downtown at the Arch. For tomorrow, sunny but cool, high 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's 51 degrees with sunshine. The weather sponsored by Age Smart Community Resources. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
1 in 4 employees is also a caregiver. The CARES program connects them with expert support, helping reduce stress, boost retention, and save your business money. Learn more at agesmart.org or call 618-222-2561, serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Ranji, I was reading a piece in, well, I should say my Instagram feed popped up, a piece from the Free Press. And it is written by Seth Dillon. He's the CEO of the Babylon Bee, which is basically the conservative Onion. It's a satirical news source. And I think sometimes it's pretty darn funny, actually. There are some pretty funny Babylon Bee cartoons. But this piece he wrote was very serious for the Free Press. It's titled, "The Foolishness of No Enemies to the Right," meaning no enemies to the right as a quote. He says, "As the CEO of the Babylon Bee, I'm in the business of mocking bad ideas. They're on the right as well as on the left." And I won't read all of the piece, but I'm going to read some key phrases. He says, "As a conservative, and it's fair to say, I'm a conservative, and it's fair to say that a lot of the bad ideas we make fun of at the Babylon Bee are progressive ones. Recently, however, I've come under fire from fellow conservatives for pointing out what should be obvious. There are bad ideas on the right, too. Never scrutinize your friends, I'm told. Focus on the enemy. They're the ones promoting abortion on demand, gender transition for minors, open borders, censorship, DEI, and a whole host of other absurdities that no one from a couple of decades ago would have believed could ever become mainstream." So he goes on and said, so they're saying it doesn't matter what we do. You never criticize your own side. He said the right is insisting on no enemies to the right. That phrase comes from the French Revolution when the warning was no enemies to the left. It was meant to establish strength through unity, but it quickly turned into an excuse to avoid self-scrutiny, a way out of confronting one's own radicals by insisting the only real danger is on the other side, which I think is very well put.
Could not agree more.
Yes. And he does talk about, he says the Democratic Party, it's in the state that it's in. And this is him speaking, he said, because they didn't confront their own radicals. They didn't self-correct, and it moved too quickly to the left. And so much more to the left than the American mainstream, he said. And so that's why the Democratic Party started losing. But he says that the right is already making that mistake because they're embracing their radicals. And he actually says, quote, "It may already be too late. Bad ideas and those pushing them seem to be multiplying by the day. Nick Fuentes, a man who glorifies Hitler, has grown his reach and influence dramatically in recent months, finding his way onto mainstream platforms. According to Alex Jones, Fuentes is set to appear on Tucker Carlson's podcast. And then I'll finish up here. He said, whenever I criticize the bad ideas on our side, anti-Semitism, historically illiterate revisionism, baseless conspiracy theories, authoritarian impulses, a mob forms to accuse me of treachery and betrayal. I'm attacked for punching right, for dividing the movement and hurting the cause.
So here's where he is correct. I don't believe that same dynamic exists on the Democratic side. And you'll probably hear that, not you, Amy, but people will hear that and say, yes, it does. Not really. The Democratic Party right now's favorability rating around the country is pretty low. Do you know where it's pretty low? In particular, with its own party.
Mm-hmm.
There are people within the Democratic Party that are very unhappy with the way things have gone. You've heard multiple people in Congress, in the Senate, already politicians, right? Not people running for office, but people who are already established politicians who are criticizing the way they have gone about business, the ideologies that some of them have taken, the paths that many of them have gone. You are hearing a lot of inner criticism amongst Democrats about how things are going, why they're going the direction they are, and what they have to do to correct it. You very rarely hear that stuff on the right. And he is correct. Seth Dillon is correct that as soon as one person criticizes, that person gets primaried.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and think about all of the Republicans that we have heard, whether they are in the House of Representatives or in the Senate, who are outspoken against other members of the party. They're people who are in their final term in office. They know they're about to leave, or they just got,
Was it the governor?
They just retired?
Yeah, the governor of Oklahoma, he made a strong statement against, I'm blanking out on something that the president had done. He made a strong statement and said, hey, we shouldn't stand for this. And I told John Hancock, I said, that's encouraging. And he goes, see if he's term limited.
That's right.
And he was. And John's like, yep, that's
Tom
what I
Tillis,
thought.
Senator Tom Tillis out of North Carolina is another great example of that. He's in his final term and he's not running for re-election. So, you know what's,
I will say this to your point. What's interesting, I have, I'm a conservative and I've given Nancy Pelosi credit because I do think that for a long time, she really did control her party far better than the Republicans did. Mitch McConnell lost the party, Lindsey Graham, they lost the party, but Nancy Pelosi was able to hold back more left-leaning, more progressive values for a long time. I think within the Democratic Party, it's primarily younger people lean further left than older Democrats in general. So for them, it's almost more of a generational thing, while on the right, it's old people who have gotten radical as well, right? Like it's all over the board. So I almost feel like with the Democratic Party, it's more of a generational shift. And then, like you said, I do think it's moved super far left. But a couple points here with Seth Dillon. He said, if unity means refusing to confront evil within our own ranks, and he's pointing out because there's been a lot of chatter about unity on the right. He goes, then I don't want it. I won't lock arms with anyone who thinks bigotry, collectivism, or post-constitutional tyranny belong under the banner of conservatism. He says the slogan, no enemies to the right, is suicide. And he talks about for a long time, the left has caricatured the right. And if we keep giving in to the most radical sides, he said that we will give the left its greatest victory by proving them right. And he said that the right, here we go. He goes that the right abandoning our principles in pursuit of power is not a winning strategy. It's a confession that we never really believed in them at all. I mean, that's a pretty searing indictment of a radical trajectory of your own party.
Yeah, and I think, again, it is every time this happens, we need to point out that we are talking about somebody who wrote that, who is a conservative. Seth Dillon
Yes.
is a
The
conservative.
CEO of the Babylon Bee.
Babylon
yeah.
Bee is a conservative satire, as you mentioned, much like The Onion, but it's like the
conservative.
conservative version of that. He is a conservative saying these things. This is not a Democrat criticizing Republicans.
And the thing is, too, they would have some satire on the right, and he was saying people would get up in arms. Like it was all fine and dandy to make a joke or satirical meme about the left, but if he did it on the right, people would lose their minds. They'd call for his head.
This just goes back to the conversations we have had many times, whether it's just among you and I, or when we were doing the crossover hour with the Dave Glover show, that we are well past that point in history where it was okay to make fun of your own side, where we made Clinton jokes all the time in the late 90s, all the time, and everybody laughed at them. Democrats laughed at them. Republicans laughed at them. He was a butt of so many jokes. That time is way gone. We are not there anymore, where if you are making fun of your team, and I think one side probably gets a little more sensitive than the other side does, but I think we all get a little sensitive over it. It did not used to be this way. You used to be able to criticize your side, and it was all right to do that. It is no longer like that.
I will say, and you're probably going to disagree with me on this, but I think for a while, especially 2019, 2020, 2021, there was on the left what felt like a huge demand to talk a certain way, to hit all the progressive talking points, both culturally and politically. And it did kind of feel like if you stepped out of line, if you weren't parodying whatever the talking points were at that moment, I did feel like the left they were the bigger pearl clutchers. But whoa, boy, did that shift.
Yeah,
I feel like, it swung so far to the right where I have realized that I've been kicked out of my own party, been called names, been called a rhino, because if you don't, the best way to put it is if you don't kiss the ring 100% of the time, it's considered almost like a righteous offense.
And I do agree with you to an extent. I think there were people on the left that liked to police every word that you used. But I don't think it was the dominant position of the Democratic Party. I just think there were much louder voices.
It got very loud for a while, right?
But a lot of people,
very loud.
A lot of moderates were like, okay, let's chill out a little bit here. Everything is not the end of the world. But you were right. There were people who were very vocal when it came to saying the right thing and the purity tests and you're on my side globally, but you did this one little thing wrong. I don't know about that. Yeah, you said this one little thing 5 years ago. Can you be trusted? I think there was a little too much of that, but I don't think it was the dominant position of the party. On the other side, however,
it leveled out for sure.
Oh, totally. But on the other side, it is now a thing where you just don't cross. You don't cross leadership. You just don't. You don't say anything bad about them.
That's what's so interesting is because, conservatism was about conserving what is right and good, and what right meaning like what works, what's working, and just as Buckley said, standing athwart history, yelling stop. It was like, okay, let's everybody calm down. Let's see which processes are working. Jonah Goldberg likes to say conservatism was ultimately rooted in gratitude for what works instead of wanting to tear it all down. It's how can we continue to improve this? I say all that because conservatism is about ideas. And ideas can be discussed. Ideas can be debated. Ideas can be disagreed with. A person cannot. If your entire political identity is based in a person, there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to discuss, and there's nothing to disagree with, which is why if you it should be okay to cross ideas. Conservatism should all be about arguing different ideas, but when it's you follow this person, you fall in line or you're out. That's where the trouble is.
Let me tell you where I think, as we hit the break here, where I think this is really showing up in the last couple of days is this White House ballroom thing. Because the amount of people on the right that have come to the defense of this ballroom when I know for a fact if Joe Biden had torn down the East Wing or parts of the East Wing, or if Obama had done that, people on the right would be losing it. And now it's like, oh, well, he got private donors. It's okay. And maybe they needed a new ballroom. Like the lengths with which people will go now to defend that when you know for a fact you would not have defended that in years past with a different president. I think that is this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. And you can disagree if you want. 314-436-7900. Feel free to chime in or leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. Six Flags has been saved by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Specifically?
Travis Kelce.
Taylor's boyfriend?
Is fiance? Is Taylor Swift going to own Six Flags? Taylor Swift owns Six Flags. Also, our sheriff was spending way more money than we thought, apparently. We'll discuss all that next on KMOX.
Thank you, Missouri, for making Genesis of St. Charles your #1 and most trusted Genesis dealer for 2025. Thrilling offers for an unforgettable season are now here at Genesis of St. Charles. For a limited time only, get 0% APR for up to 60 months on all new Genesis models. You don't want to miss this one. These offers absolutely end October 31st. Visit genesisofstcharles.com today. Based on GMA sales records for 2024 on approved credit for Genesis Finance. See dealer for details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Stay safe on the roads with Rain-X Vision Beam Wiper Blades. Now at Menards. For over 40 years, Rain-X has provided drivers with products to outsmart the elements. Their Vision Beam Wiper Blades are easy to install and are designed to provide a smooth, streak-free wipe every time. Save big money on all Rain-X products now at Menards. And don't forget to check out our flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Justin Brown with Prince Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Is your financial advisor proactive or reactive? If your strategy or service feels stagnant or misaligned, it may be time for a change. Our defined, proactive approach to investments and communication keeps you informed and prepared for what's ahead. Let's talk about what makes us different and how a more engaged advisor can help you reach your goals. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is our broker-dealer.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
$800,000.
Yes.
Actually, it's 812 to be exact, Amy. That is what the sheriff's office spent going back to July of last year. $812,666 in a deficit. And that included a bounced check for $56,000. What? Man, okay. We have done a lot of talking about my sheriff, Alfred Montgomery, and I'm still on board, by the way. I'm looking for a rebound.
He's the person's sheriff. And you're the person.
He's the one person.
Yeah.
It's not the people's sheriff.
No, it's the person's sheriff.
And I'm the person.
And you're the person.
That is exactly right. So from July of 2024 through June of this past year, and it did include Vernon Betts' administration as well, but mostly it was Alfred Montgomery and the city's financial institutions. They raised some alarms over some of these red flags, including that 800 plus that was spent. And because of it, the sheriff's office has now been declared, quote, high risk after going over budget by that much. So when we talk about St. Louis and the issues that it has and the leadership problems, and it's not all bad. I mean, there are good people who are in office in St. Louis who are trying to do right by the people, trying to do right by the city. I think we have a good mayor, probably. I mean, she's still relatively new in office, but it seems like to this point, she knows what she's doing. And there's still a lot of time that can be, that can change here. But I do think that we've got far too many people that are either just simply in it for themselves. They are just incompetent, or I don't know, maybe in some cases, they're just malicious. I have no idea. But some of these things that we talk about and some of these examples of idiocy are just so frustrating because what we're trying to do is improve the perception of the city. And when you have people like this who are in office, who are overspending by pretty close to $1 million, that's not good. When we don't have that good of a budget or that high of a budget as it is.
Yes. Well, like Keisha Scarlett, the former superintendent of the St. Louis Public Schools, who hired a bunch of her buddies, I guess, from the Seattle area, and then took a multi-million-dollar surplus of the St. Louis Public Schools and in 1 year drove it into 3 times as much of a deficit, tens of millions of dollars in deficit. So she's gone. Well, also last Friday, the superintendent who took over after Keisha Scarlett, Dr. Millicent Borchette, she was fired on Friday. And then another school board member resigned because of her firing. And that feels like it's just a huge mess. So, yes, the sheriff's office is in disarray because it's a bad sign when your sheriff is in jail. He's not at the jail.
No, he's in it. He's not working.
In it. And it's not good when you don't have school buses weeks before, days before school begins. Parents don't know how their kids are going to get to school. The superintendent's office presumably is a revolving door situation where people are going in and out within months. It is chaotic in some pretty important areas of the city. I mean, we talk about crime downtown. Yep, that's a big deal. But you know what's going to drive families away from downtown St. Louis? The schools. If the schools are dysfunctional.
And we should note that technically the sheriff's department is not part of the city, though they do have to, they're supposed to follow city recommendations, right? So I know it's a little bit of a different dynamic. A lot of this money was spent because from the reporting that we've seen, Alfred Montgomery fired a bunch of people who worked for Vernon Betts and had to pay them out.
Yeah.
So a large portion of that $813,000 was for that. So that seems unnecessary. But again, I've never been a sheriff. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I feel like you might not do a good job, but I could see you not landing in jail.
I could probably do a better job.
I bet you could stay out of jail.
You know what? Maybe I should run for sheriff. Would you vote for me?
I'd vote for you. Because here's the thing. You're right. I wouldn't want to be sheriff. I don't know how to run an office. I can barely run my own household, which is just me.
Just you.
Yeah. So I get that. However, I bet you could be sheriff for 6 months and not end up in jail.
It's funny that we say this because a texter to the KMOX text line 314-436-7900 did about 20 minutes ago say that they think I should run for sheriff.
Oh, wow.
So, maybe the campaign changes. Maybe it's no longer Save My Sheriff. It's I got to think about this.
So
I got to think about this.
Okay, I am the sheriff. I'm the sheriff now.
I am the sheriff now.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, yeah, you think about it. I will say this. We can turn things around piece by piece. Kim Gardner was a national embarrassment, was terrible, but the new circuit attorney, Gabe Gore, slowly but surely, turning the office around, getting things in order. So maybe we can get a Gabe Gore-esque replacement.
And as we mentioned, Six Flags, maybe saved by the Kelseys.
What?
Or are they the Swifts?
The Swifts.
He's
He's going to be Travis Swift.
Yeah, so we will get into that because I think it's an amusing story. And I'm glad that Six Flags will probably not leave the area any longer. But also, we've been really lucky, I think, over the last 20 or so years, maybe even longer, that we've had successful sports teams in this city. That's not the case everywhere. There are some places where the fan base just hates their team. I kind of want to get into this when we come back. Amy Marks-Kors, Chris Ranji. This is KMOX.
Wake up informed. Wake up empowered. Wake up to Total Information AM, your morning must.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey.
I'm Megan Lynch.
This is Tom Ackerman. From local news to breaking headlines to weather, traffic, and the stories that matter most, we've got you covered before your first sip of coffee. Expert analysis, bright perspectives from the people you trust. Total Information AM. Your day starts here. Mornings beginning at 5 on 104.1 FM. KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it's 50 degrees, breezy with plenty of sunshine today, a high of 65. Tonight, clear and chilly, a low of 42.
DEA's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. Learn more at DEATakeback.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Changing the weather.
Fall.
Changing the weather.
Weather.
Something's happening here.
Temps turning cooler. Days getting shorter. We'll help you weather the weather with the latest forecast from 2 meteorologists and severe weather coverage when needed from the Salika Heating and Cooling Storm Center.
Changing the weather.
The weather. We've got it covered on 104.1 FM KMOX.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, we are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It's a great reminder to take care of yourself. I think people are so busy throughout the year taking care of everybody else. Seeing all the pink around in October is a really excellent time to take a step back and make sure that you are here to continue taking care of everybody else for a very long time.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Thursday night, the NFL is on KMOX. The Chargers, the Vikings.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 6:30. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. We're going to be in football heaven.
On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning. My name is Joe, and I'm a frequent caller and listener to your show. I really enjoyed Bill McClellan on your program. I hope you'll have him as a frequent guest. He's really got a pulse for St. Louis politics and happenings as he's been here so long.
Bill's a nice guy. Amy knows him really well for being part of the, what's the show again?
Donnybrook.
Donnybrook. Damn, couldn't think of it.
Doofus, you know that.
Can I tell you, I've seen it a few times. I've
You
known
better
of it
watch
forever.
out. Donnybrook has,
I've been
a
invited on.
cult following.
I know they do.
I mean,
It's a real cult.
It's a real.
And once you get in, you can't get out of it.
Yeah. No, I will say, like, whenever I'm on Donnybrook, like, my phone blows up. Like, I saw you on Donnybrook.
Thank you for listening, Joe, and for leaving a voice message on the Odyssey app. Really easy to do. That means you can do it if you're listening to the show and you have some thoughts. So how about Travis Kelce, Amy, about to save Six Flags?
A Wall Street Journal exclusive. They talk about Travis Kelce has teamed up with an activist investor that's pushing for changes to Six Flags. It's the New York-based hedge fund JANA Partners. I guess how you say it. But JANA Partners, along with Travis Kelce and several other investors, have a combined stake of about 9% of the theme park operators' shares, which equals about $200 million. Now, Travis Kelce on his Instagram posted a picture of his face in front of a probably a stock photo roller coaster. He says, "To all my fellow theme park and amusement park lovers, I have some exciting news," with 3 exclamation points. Couldn't pass up the opportunity to continue the tradition and make Cedar Point and Six Flags even more special for the next generation of families. Excited to partner with JANA Partners as an investor in Six Flags. So crazy to even imagine this is real, but you gotta love it when life comes full circle. He mentions Cedar Point because he talks frequently on his podcast with his brother Jason Kelce about visiting the Cedar Point theme park in Ohio when he was growing up.
Yes. And Six Flags, we know, has been in some financial trouble, but the news of this just yesterday shot up the stock price by about 18%. That's how much, what's the word I'm looking for? Cachet? The Travis Kelce Taylor Swift tandem has. And you know that people are they're thinking about her too. I mean, when he does this, when he becomes a part of this, people are also thinking about Taylor Swift. And maybe someday Taylor Swift will come through Six Flags St. Louis.
Well, it'll be Swift Flags St. Louis.
Wow.
I mean, I do think it might be Swift Flags. Here's the thing. All you need is Taylor Swift to say to her Swifties, go to Six Flags. And then the stock will shoot up and millions of people will go. Now, when you hear about like this activist investor, Jana Partners, what they've done before is they enlist celebrities to bring awareness to their campaign. As you mentioned, Travis Kelce's just a proxy. They don't care about Travis Kelce. They want Taylor Swift. So in the past, Jana has used retired basketball star Dwayne Wade.
They use Shaq.
And baseball player CeCe Sabathia for Freshpet. They use Shaquille O'Neal to join the board of Papa John's. As part of the Six Flags Investor Consortium, Jana brought in Gap CEO Glenn Murphy, former Gap CEO, and Reddit chair, then the Reddit chair Dave, I don't know how to say it, Habiger? I don't know how to say that. At any rate, those two will be board members. Travis Kelce will not be a board member for Six Flags, but he is going to bring awareness to Six Flags.
So what is the Travis Kelce / Taylor Swift new ride going to be at Six Flags?
Lovers
It'll be featured?
Loop.
Lovers Loop.
Redwood Screaming.
What?
Like the Screaming Eagle.
Redwood?
Isn't that her song?
No, there's a song
About
called...
his pee-pee?
No, it's called Wood.
Oh.
The song is just called
no,
Wood.
but the phrase Redwood's in the song.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know what you're saying.
It's not a very nice song.
No.
It's a terrible song. Come on.
That's a great song. What's wrong with that song?
Taylor's
She's allowed to
generally
celebrate whatever
more
she wants
poetic.
to. I think that's a great example of poetry.
It's a little pee forward.
Yeah. Well, half of us have them. Why can't we talk about them?
Well, maybe the ride will be named after that.
Well, that's a different kind of ride. If you have, give us your suggestion for the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce new ride at Six Flags. We'd like to know what your thoughts are. 314-436-7900. Go ahead and text in, or you can leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app.
Ron, as they say, this is going off the rails.
I don't think it has at all.
You do not want your roller coaster to do.
We are very much on topic. So we've been very lucky, I think, in St. Louis. For the most part, we got two teams. We used to have, Battlehawks. We have the Battlehawks. I don't want to forget them. We used to have the Rams here, as you know. But I think we've been pretty fortunate over about a 30-year period that the teams have been successful. Each team has a championship that, again, includes the Rams when they were here. So there hasn't been, relatively speaking, if you take a step back and you look at the body of work, there hasn't been a ton to complain about. There hasn't been a lot for us to, you can have complaints for sure, and I have them. I think a lot of Cardinals fans do. Blues fans have had them in the past. But as organizations go, I don't think the teams that we have had in town have been enough to make you feel just depressed.
Oh, no, like the Rich Brooks, Tony Banks Rams were terrible for a few years, but then you have the Kurt Warner Super Bowl. So you forget about the Rich Brooks, Tony Banks years.
Right.
And then the Rams, they were bad. You couldn't even give away tickets for a few years. Then they go to LA. So you're not complaining about the team being bad. You're complaining about getting screwed over by the worst owner in sports history. The Cardinals, we are so used to them being competitive and vying for not just the division, but the World Series, that you string a couple of rough years together and you think, oh man, this is not good. We can't stand for this, but you don't hate the team.
So what we have not done, or what the sports teams in this city, and I'm gonna throw the Rams out of this because they did something that very rarely gets done to a city, where they just up and leave. That doesn't happen very often. But we have been saved from this sort of mindset.
What's your thoughts on the game? I hate this team. I was born into this, and I'm not going to ever... I'm always a Jets fan, but, I hate this team.
Okay. So that was
despondent.
That was a young fan after the Jets... After the Jets lost again over the weekend, and they are now 0-7 on the season. So that was a fan who was just interviewed outside the stadium afterwards, and that poor guy, he could have been like 20, maybe.
He could have been anywhere between 16 and 20, probably.
Yeah, he was pretty young. So his entire life, he's known nothing but misery when it comes to the New York Jets. And I was thinking about this. I feel really bad for people who are fans of a team like that, or
Do you feel bad for yourself?
because of the Bears?
Yeah.
No, man, the trajectory. We're on the way up, pal.
Well,
What are you talking about? Yeah, they're 4 What do you mean? They're 4-2. They got a real quarterback. They have a
so
real
up
coach.
until last year, did you feel sorry for yourself?
Yeah, for a lot of time.
I
yes.
say this, there's a point to this, and it's not just making fun of Ranj. The point is, when Ranj talks about the Bears, like we always joke about him being bitter and angry and despondent. And he's like, I hate this team. I want them to build the new stadium in the middle of Lake Michigan
So
they
people
can
can't get to it.
Then they can sink the whole franchise.
Right.
You may as well.
Yeah.
The way you talk about the Bears, I have never heard any sports fan in St. Louis talk about any sports team.
Because
There's
the Blues and the
Yeah.
Cardinals haven't done that to us.
They haven't. I mean, the Blues made the playoffs for 25 years straight, record for any professional sports.
They've been disappointing where they hit a
Yeah.
wall. They hit a playoff wall, except for 2019. That was the first time that didn't happen.
Right. But that's the thing. The decades and decades of disappointment or of ownership not trying or of players just being busts. We just haven't experienced that because, like I said, the type of fan that you are, and I feel like it does tend to be big cities like Chicago,
Yeah.
like a New York. I've never experienced that type of St. Louis fan. You have a level of bitterness that we don't know.
Right, because that team has done it to us.
Yeah. And the
Which
Jets.
is the Jets, man. I really feel bad for Jets
Yeah.
fans. And I feel bad for Pirates fans at the moment because that used to be a good franchise back in the day, and they just
Okay.
don't try anymore.
Do Pirates fans talk like that, like I hate the Pirates? Because it's got to be a combo of being terrible and having a passionate fan base. New York has that. Chicago has that. Does Pittsburgh have that?
I don't know. It seems like Pirates fans have just sort of checked out.
Right.
And probably some of it is the Steelers have been good, so they have that. They do have a pretty good hockey team too. Just overall, they've had some hockey success. So I don't know if it's because of that. The Pirates fans aren't vocal, or we're just not paying attention to them.
It might be that. They're yelling. We can't hear them.
Whatever. It could be it. It could be that they are complaining a lot, but nobody's listening to
Right.
anything. But the Jets are a perfect example of a team that just is, it's got to be miserable to be a fan of that organization. And as that young fan said,
Yeah.
born into it, because your fandom, and you have the right to change fandom if you want.
Mm-hmm.
If your team is not doing the best it can to serve you well, and you want to pick a different team, you could totally do that if you want. It's just tough to do.
So
It's tough to do when you grow up and your dad and your mom are into it, and maybe your brothers and sisters and all of your friends. And then after a while, you're like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Because
I hate this team.
This team does nothing but disappoint me. If you want to move on from that, you can, but it's like leaving a family member.
yeah. So up until 2004, is that how Red Sox fans were? Were they like, oh, I hate this team?
I mean, yes.
'Cause
They
they
were
had
in a
one
World
since
Series in the
1918.
80s. Yeah, well, they were in a World Series in the 80s. So at least they had been there.
But did they have the same vibe as Jets fans?
I don't know if it was the same.
What about-
this is just straight up misery.
Yeah. Cubs fans, were they straight up misery
No, because they were having they would
until 15?
till 2015, 2016. Yeah, like they were, it wasn't the same. It was
Why does it feel different?
it feels different because people go to the ballpark and because people were having fun at the ballpark
Yeah.
anyway. And there was something, the lovable losers thing,
Mm.
where there was something kind of fun about it. I don't know. It's not the same as just nothing but straight misery like New York Jets.
Yeah.
The team is given to its fan base. So I think in that regard, we have been in St. Louis pretty lucky for a 2-team town that we don't have just crap all the time. Now, that does not mean that you're not allowed to criticize your team. You are allowed to criticize the Cardinals. You are allowed to expect more from them, and you're allowed to expect more from the Blues. You are allowed to, any team that gets good attendance, where people watch and support and talk about you, You have every right as a fan base to complain about that organization if they're not doing everything you think they can to win a championship. You're allowed to. However, taking a 10,000-foot view, we have been fairly lucky here in St. Louis over the last 2-3 decades. Amy Marks, Coors, Chris Ranji, feel free to join the show, 314-436-7900. Did you see this? Next on KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefit Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Hey St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. In my nearly 30 years in the industry, I've seen firsthand what damage falling trees can do to your property. The sad thing is that most trees that fail have defects that can be identified by a well-trained certified arborist. At Timberline, we have 7 ISA certified arborists, 3 of which have gone through extensive training and testing to become tree risk assessment qualified. Our track certified arborists can perform a thorough assessment of your tree and provide mitigation options for your peace of mind. If there's nothing wrong with your tree, we will let you know that it poses a low risk of failure. If it needs to be removed, we'll tell you in a detailed written report. It's all about honesty and integrity here at Timberline Professional Tree Care. So call us today to get a tree risk assessment scheduled, 636-479-7475, or contact us through our website at stltreecare.com.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Ranj, was it last night? Is it called the Sports Equinox?
Where all the teams play?
Because,
No.
Oh.
No.
Sports Eclipse?
Because baseball wasn't playing.
Oh, that's right. Is
Yeah.
it Friday night, maybe? Nope, no
It could,
football.
well, yeah. No.
No?
Well, there's no NFL. It could be Saturday. It could be Saturday because you're going to have
Baseball.
NFL, baseball,
Yep.
hockey,
And NBA.
and NBA.
The NBA tipped off last night, and the league broke a new record. So the opening night rosters for the NBA featured 135 players born outside the U.S. That is the most ever per the AP. So these players in the NBA come from 43 countries. Canada has the most with 23 players, followed by France with 19 and Australia with 13. The Atlanta Hawks tied an NBA record. They have 10 international players on their roster. And the last seven MVP awards for the NBA have been won by players outside the U.S. And in fact, the international surge, this is coming as the NBA reportedly is in talks to start a new league in Europe as early as 2027.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
The NBA, man, global explosion.
It really is. And it has global appeal now for sure. I mean, baseball's done a pretty good job with that because you've got players from all over the world, Japan, Korea, Taiwan. I mean, you've got in Latin America. I mean, just from everywhere, right? And NBA has started to get there. Hockey's been there for a long time. You got a lot of European players and Canadians and obviously Americans who play in that league. It's football that's really trying.
Yeah. And hockey's kind of going backward, not backwards, but like hockey's always been very international.
Right.
Now we're trying to grow American players.
Right.
It's the opposite.
The NFL, I think, is an interesting case just because they don't play football in a lot of countries in the world. They play it here, right? And they play it in Canada. I mean, there are places where they do, but trying to expand to Brazil, at least get a market share there. Obviously, in London, they're always playing a bunch of games. Germany, they played games. Spain, which is very cool. But I will be really curious to see how much football, our football, American football, catches on around the world in, say, 15, 20 years. Be really interested to see how popular it gets. So this is kind of scary, and this is a story from Tucson, Arizona. A stray bullet from a police gun range practice, it hit monkey bars at a community park nearby.
Oh.
Officials investigating after a stray bullet hit the monkey bars at Gladden Farms Community Park in Marana, Arizona, and this happened early this morning. The police department was doing rifle training at the gun club at the time and confirmed the stray bullet was fired from one of its officers. The gun range is about a half mile from the park. That's kind of scary.
Close.
Yes, it does. No injuries. Nobody got hurt. But there was a woman and a child were at the park when they heard the shot.
Well, that's scary. I think
Right?
about that. I run by training ranges before, and I'm always, I don't know, they're just kind of plopped there in the middle of where people are.
And the story goes on, and the story is from WCAX in Arizona. And this says the town said a similar incident happened in 2020 when several bullets from the gun range hit the baseball field right next to the playground.
This is a problem. You need to not use that gun range.
Maybe move the damn gun range or something. What are you guys doing over there? Good
Yikes.
grief. All right, final hour of the show is coming up. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji. Don't forget the Gas House Gang with Tom Ackerman and me happens at 12 o'clock today. We'll talk some sports during your lunch hour on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here, and I just wanted to let you know that FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams in all your favorite sports. And with FanDuel, there are just so many ways for you to get in on the action. And you can check it out at FanDuel.com/Missouri, where you can download the app. You can bet on everything from the money line to over-unders to which team's going to win it all on a futures bet. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player is going to score the next touchdown or which player is going to hit the next home run and the one after that and the one after that and so on. And I've been with FanDuel since the very beginning. I've been using the FanDuel Sportsbook app for years when I've been in states that allow me to play, and it's a blast. It's super easy, just as easy to get your money out as it is to put your money in, by the way. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to download the app. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and older, present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is 11 o'clock. We've got sunshine and 55 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway wants the sheriff of the city of St. Louis to be removed from office. She believes he can't perform his duties behind bars and that the governor can appoint a new sheriff. Our legal expert, Brad Young, says that's not accurate.
Under statute, the sheriff's office vacancies is specifically listed as an office that the governor cannot fill. So that's why there's this gap, statutory gap here. And in the absence of that gap, there is a lot of ambiguity here, and the courts would have to step in.
Without extension of the ACA tax credits, people's health insurance premiums will rise 114%. Metro East Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski says that's why Democrats have drawn a line in the sand when it comes to reopening the government.
In my district, about 14,000 constituents rely on the ACA tax credits to make ACA affordable. We'd like to see those extended. We want Republicans to address this manufactured healthcare crisis that I would argue is a lot of their own making.
Budzinski tells Chris and Amy Republicans' Medicare cuts weren't about efficiency and will have detrimental effects on families, children, and rural hospitals. She says they want to negotiate, but Speaker Johnson won't call House members back to Washington. A new measles outbreak with more than 100 people infected in Arizona and Utah. The cases have been mainly clustered in areas with low vaccine rates. Dr. William Schaffner with Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
It's a very sad story because we shouldn't have any of these measles cases. Measles is a very, very nasty virus. It's spreading among children who have been withheld from vaccination.
People refusing to vaccinate their kids contributing to a 34-year high in U.S. measles cases. From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The price of beef may have you moving on to other meats.
Beef has gone up like 14% in the past year. But if we're talking chicken, it's about 1.7%. Other things have been about 1.4%.
SLU professor and KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz says drought conditions, feed prices, disease in other parts of the world, and tariffs are all driving beef prices higher. Katz is a guest on KMOX's Total Information AM every Wednesday at 8:30.
This afternoon will be bright and sunny and breezy with a high of 65, then clear and chilly tonight. We'll slip to 36 in some of the coldest suburbs, 42 downtown at the Arch. Sunny and cool again tomorrow, high 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's 55 degrees with some sunshine, and the weather is sponsored for you by SNL Coins. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
During the break, just looking up at the monitor, things are going great for us on this show. We have multiple TVs in the studio. So, not trying to brag. Not trying to brag or anything, but we do have multiple TVs. One of them is on CNN, and just saw our next guest who jumped right off that interview with Wolf Blitzer, and she's talking to us now. CNN tech reporter and host of the Terms of Service with Claire Duffy podcast. It is Claire Duffy on the show today. Good morning, Claire. Good to talk to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Did you bring Wolf with you, or is it just was it just us?
It's just us. I left Wolf in the studio over there.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. And so the sound was off, but could see that you were talking about Amazon going automated and how they are testing this out. And it seems a little dystopian because we were having this conversation in the office prior to the show that they could go fully automated and the warehouses could be dark because robots don't need light.
Oh,
and
that's just such a creepy phrase.
Yeah.
So what's happening with Amazon and how close is it to becoming a reality that it is just fully automated?
Yeah, I mean, this is what so many people are worried about with the transition to AI, right? Is humans losing their jobs to AI algorithms and robots. And the New York Times came out with a report yesterday citing internal Amazon documents that the company essentially thinks that its investments in AI are going to help it avoid hiring 600,000 humans that it would otherwise need over the next 8 years. And that by doing that, they're still going to be able to double the number of products that they're selling in that time. Now, Amazon is pushing back, saying that these documents are misrepresenting its overall hiring strategy. It's still a major employer, but the company has hinted at these plans to shrink its human workforce before. CEO Andy Jassy said back in June that the company's investments in AI efficiency are going to lead to a smaller human workforce in the future. So I think they're sort of quibbling with how quickly this is going to happen, how this is going to happen, but it does feel clear that at least to some extent, there are going to be fewer human workers as we see more AI agents and more robots doing human work.
Yeah, just for some perspective, that New York Times piece spoke with a Nobel Prize winning economist who noted that Amazon is currently the second largest employer in the U.S. and that, as you mentioned, not hiring 600,000 workers or cutting jobs, it could turn that second largest employer in the U.S. into, quote, a net job destroyer, which is pretty amazing if that Amazon operation automates 75% of its workforce.
Absolutely. And Amazon, like other tech companies, is making this argument that, yes, AI is going to do away with jobs, but other new jobs will emerge. Amazon says that it's investing in training and upskilling its employees. But I think the question is, will that happen as quickly as the jobs that are getting taken away by AI? Will that sort of keep pace, or will the job destruction happen faster than the new job creation?
It seems like it's pretty impossible for them to lose 600,000 jobs and replace them with 600,000 artificial intelligence jobs or something similar. I don't know how that's even possible for them to do that.
Yeah, I think the real story here is less about losing jobs that they already have, but more about not having to hire an additional 600,000 workers. I mean, if we look at Amazon's headcount, even over the past 5 years, the company has continued to grow its revenue significantly year over year, but its headcount and the amount of new employees that it's hiring every year has really leveled off. And so I think at least in the near term, that's the more likely situation, is these companies just won't have to hire new employees as they continue growing like they normally would, because the AI can take those new employees, those human workers' jobs.
So obviously this is a very big concern for the country. I don't know that tech companies are all that worried about it because they just seem to, want to push it as far as they can push it and aren't really worried about the human toll. At least that's my read on it, and I could be totally wrong. So what is being done or what can be done by maybe the U.S. government to make sure that we are not putting this many, because it could be millions of people out of work? What are we doing about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we're really doing anything about it just yet, which is kind of concerning. There are all kinds of sort of suggestions about what could be done. Some in the tech world, including OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, have talked about universal basic income as a potential solution for the number of human job losses that we're going to see over the next few years. But we are hearing more and more people, even from the tech world, warn about how serious this could be. I mean, the Anthropic CEO, Dario Amodei, said that he expects we could see 10 to 20% of the white-collar workforce sort of disappeared and destroyed over the next 1 to 5 years. It's really incredible. Of course, I do think there's some question about how much of that is tech CEOs hyping the ability of their own products versus reality. At this point, 95% of companies that test AI tools say they're not actually seeing it benefit their bottom line. So I don't know that this will happen as quickly as Silicon Valley would like to say that it's going to happen, but I do think that we need policymakers and business leaders thinking together about how to address, the real employment decline that we could see from this technology.
Claire, switching over to social media and specifically Meta has rolled out new Instagram updates. The biggest one being there is an Instagram now that will be rated PG-13 for teens. Through teen accounts, Instagram will have safety settings. Those guidelines will follow the guidelines of PG-13 movies, making sure that the content isn't too mature, whether it's sexually or versus, mental health or drugs and so forth. Can you kind of set the table of what exactly these teen accounts are and how they work?
Yeah, so parents and teens who use Instagram may remember that Instagram launched these new teen accounts protections last year. These are default privacy protections and content restrictions for users under the age of 18. And with this latest update, Meta is making those content limits even stricter by aligning them with PG-13 movie ratings. And what that's going to mean is Instagram is going to make it harder for teens to see posts with strong language or posts that could encourage harmful behavior like risky stunts or drug paraphernalia. They're also going to make it harder for teens to search for things like alcohol or violence or gore. And teens won't be able to follow or interact with accounts that regularly post non-PG-13 content. And this comes after Meta had continued to face criticism that the teen accounts protections it launched last year weren't doing enough to keep young people safe. And so the company is really trying to give parents and teens clearer guidelines around what the rules are by aligning it to the standard that people are pretty familiar with. And also to give parents more control, because a key difference here from when Meta launched teen accounts last year is that previously 16 and 17-year-olds could opt out of the teen account settings. They can still do that for the privacy protections, but these new content limits will be on by default for all users under the age of 18, and they have to get their parents' approval to change them. So Meta just sort of trying to tighten the reins here and also give parents more options around their teens' experience on the platform.
With these teen accounts, though, is this predicated on the honesty of the user? Meaning, couldn't I just create an account if I'm 15 years old and say that I'm 25?
That's the big question here. This still in many ways requires teens to be honest about their age when they sign up, which we know is a big if.
Yeah.
And Meta says that it has AI age estimation technology that can identify users who lie about their age and put suspected teens into these content restrictions. But we don't have a good sense of, at this point, about how well that's actually working.
What about, generally speaking, when if it's Instagram or Facebook, and I'm not sure how many young people are on Facebook these days, but TikTok is certainly very popular. Is there enough that's being done to make sure younger people are protected from some of the content? Because we've heard, some of the CEOs of these tech companies say, well, yes, of course, we're trying or we want to, but is there actually being enough done to protect them?
Yeah, I think according to many parents and lawmakers that I've spoken to, there's still not enough being done. We're still seeing teens struggle with, as you mentioned, body image issues or bullying that they're experiencing online, seeing this age inappropriate content. And we're really seeing this growing push for regulation around the world to help keep kids safe online. In some cases, we're seeing efforts to block young teens from accessing social media at all. And while I think a lot of this action from the tech companies, these new policies, these new restrictions for young people are out of the sort of realization that they want to keep their users safe, I think there is some element of wanting to avoid those worst case scenarios where laws are passed and teens can no longer access their platforms at all.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the protections. Both Reuters and the Wall Street Journal reported earlier this year. It was horrific to read, Claire, that Meta's AI chatbot would flirt. And this is you have this in your story, flirt and engage in romantic or sexual role play with young people, with kids. We're failing we are so far behind technology.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of worries that we haven't yet addressed the issues that we've known about for years with social media. And yet these tech companies are pushing forward with this new medium with AI that people can actually develop these pretty intimate relationships with. Now, Meta says that it's created new guidelines around its AI technology, and teens' conversations with its AI characters will have to remain within these PG-13 guidelines. But I think there is real concern that we haven't addressed the old problems and we're creating new problems as we go forward and we develop this technology.
We are talking to Claire Duffy, CNN tech reporter and host of the Terms of Service with Claire Duffy podcast. I've not had a chance to hear the podcast yet. You want to tell us about it?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. So the goal of the podcast is to break through the sort of hype that we hear about technology and fear that we often hear about technology and help people get a better sense of the tech tools that are showing up in their real lives right now, how to better engage with them, how to protect themselves from the downsides of technology. So that's, we've talked about everything from how to identify deep fake news footage online to how to make sure to set good passwords so that your online cyber hygiene is in a good place. So it really sort of runs the gamut, but the goal is to give people news you can use about new technologies.
Claire Duffy, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for visiting with us, and we hope to talk again soon.
Thanks so much for having me.
Claire Duffy, CNN tech reporter. And again, the podcast we just mentioned is called Terms of Service with Claire Duffy. You can listen to that wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate Claire being on the show.
Yeah.
We have been trying, I think, for a long time here. You and I, Amy, have been trying to keep Matt Pajeski, our young producer, protected from content, which is harmful.
Okay.
Because he's kind of...
So is he not allowed to talk to you?
No, I don't. Look, there's nothing I've done that's dangerous, except maybe try to feed him peanuts.
That's without dangerous. He has a peanut allergy.
I know.
No respect. They don't get no respect.
Okay, so wait, what are we trying to protect Matt from?
Just the dangers of online people, predators, harmful content, scams.
Are you leading into something, or is this a joke?
I'm not leading into anything.
My safety and well-being is no joke.
I care about your safety.
I guess
what I'm trying to say is Matt is young. He is young. 15, basically.
I will say this. I'm not young, and I consider myself, pretty confident, right? 42-year-old woman. I am telling you, I use Instagram like an old person, like, oh, here's a recipe that I like. Oh, look at this this runner that I follow in the Olympics. And that's how I use Instagram. And the algorithms are, I feel, designed to be malicious or evil, because if you click on one recipe that happens to be a salad, it will lead you down really unhealthy, disordered eating or body image algorithms. It is so weird how I feel like there is more harmful content than good content. So it's a numbers game, and the harmful content is always eventually going to bubble up.
I think just from using it myself, I don't believe that it's more harmful than anything. I think it is more mindless than anything. I think most of the content that's on Instagram is just totally pointless.
Now
there's no harm, there's no good. It's just empty calories.
Well, brain rot. There's brain rot, which I do think is a different type of harm, but maybe it is. And I know that the different studies, when we talk to the Center Against Digital Hate, I forgot the official name, but it's something like that, that especially for young girls, the content was harmful. I think the body image issue for young users or for female users is massive. It's really driven towards women. I've had to block accounts and say not interested, because and like I said, I'm not searching this stuff out. I am following recipes, and it will find me. It's crazy.
Amy Marks, Cora's Chris Ranji. Just last week, Amy and I, this show, we told you about a pet peeve of ours. Well, a prominent member of our society did it, and we have to call him out for it. It's Chris and Amy on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-90 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
From your friends at Lombardo Homes, congrats to Dave Glover and the DGS show on 25 years of building something great. Thanks for keeping St. Louis entertained, informed, and laughing all along the way.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
All right, so Amy and I have not heard this yet.
We have not. It was brought to our attention by
Matt Pajeski.
That's right.
Mr. Peanut.
Mr. Peanut. Oh.
And we Mr. Can't Have a Peanut.
You can't be me.
Oh,
Toxic.
Yes, they are
Toxic.
toxic to you. They will kill you.
No, Judy, his preschool teacher, called in and said Matt was a delight.
A+ preschool student too.
A+.
I bet he's a cute little kid.
Oh yeah.
He's cute now. He had to have been cute when he was little.
There's something cute about him, isn't there?
He is adorable.
So Matt informed us that the vice president of the United States committed an infraction.
Grammatical infraction?
Yes, and it's one of our pet peeves on this show collectively. It's one of the things Amy and I agree upon. And so here it is. We haven't heard it
See
yet.
if you can pick out what it is.
Israel, honestly, with our Gulf Arab allies, can play a very positive leadership role in this region to where, frankly, the United States can care less about the Middle East.
Okay.
What point is he trying to make?
Is he saying that we don't have to worry about them?
Because
or is he using I couldn't care less wrong?
What if I'm wrong the whole time?
You might be wrong. So
Okay,
he
play
just
the-
played again, and maybe the last part, because you honed in on the
No,
phrase.
Play the whole thing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, because I
okay.
want the context.
Israel, honestly, with our Gulf Arab allies, can play a very positive leadership role in this region to where, frankly, the United States can care less about the Middle East.
I think he meant to say, I think he used it correctly.
He might have that.
He was
that
saying
Ivy
we
League,
can care less.
he used it appropriately.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I know
they
what
didn't
you're
ask you this
now.
in preschool, did they?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Jamie.
wow.
Because what Matt was implying, well, I'm like throwing him under the bus. What
No,
we
you're
all
right.
thought was going to happen was he meant to use the phrase "I couldn't care less," which most people say "I could care less," which is incorrect. But I believe the vice president was correctly saying, with Israel and the allies, we can care less
If
about
Israel
it.
takes a bigger role,
Now,
right?
Ranj and I are not commenting on that sentiment because that's an odd way to phrase it. We're just saying grammatically, I think he was correct.
Grammatically, he probably did get it right.
Yeah.
But I see what now look, Matt, you're not wrong because it did sound like
Most
if you
people
just
don't say that.
Yes.
Right. Most people they
Would say,
don't
like,
use it correctly.
yes.
In that way.
And in that instance, where some people would say we wouldn't have to be as concerned.
Yes.
We wouldn't be the primary, what have you. I think he was saying there's help so that we could actually care less. I don't
It's just kind of weird.
It's weird, and I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
like the phrasing. I don't want to say, well, I don't care as much about it because we've got other people.
Right.
He could just say it's less of a concern.
Grammatically, he is correct. In sentiment, it's kind of a strange sentiment. All right. Anyway, JD Vance, that Ivy League education did work in this case. Also, we have our question of the week.
We do.
Which is out there on our Twitter account. It is at Chris Amy KMOX. And all you have to do is go to the account, follow us, and you get $1.
Whoa.
Not a real dollar,
That's
just in
illegal.
your mind. It's called a mind dollar. Just pretend you're a dollar richer.
Mind dollar.
And then I know, I just made that up. So it's very stupid. So just follow us on Twitter and then vote in our question of the week. Do you rake your leaves or just leave them? And I'm surprised at how close this is.
We've
It's
also
very, very close.
So this has struck a nerve down the hall. at 97.1 FM.
As everything does.
Well,
I'm outraged.
No, with the raking the leaves. Because I had a couple of people ask me about the poll and how it's doing. And I said, well, our listeners really need to step up. They really need to vote in this poll so we can get a very scientific and representative result. But 97.1 brought up an option that some of our other commenters have brought up, which is, what about mowing them? You leave them and you mow, because I do see a lot of people mowing leaves.
So mowing them to me is akin to raking them. I know it's a lot easier to mow than to rake.
And they're still brown. You
Right.
still see the brown leaves and remnants in the yard. So it doesn't leave your grass pristine.
The spirit of the question, though, is you just leave them and don't do anything with them. Right? Do you just let them stay on the lawn? And I think that I'm surprised at how many people so far have said they just leave them where they are.
So
that's stunning to me.
This 314 doesn't have any trees in his own yard, but I guess his neighbor's leaves blow into his yard, so he blows them back into his neighbor's yard.
I see nothing wrong with that.
They're technically his leaves. He's giving them back.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but it is pretty close. So we do want to hear from you. What do you do with your leaves? Do you rake them or leave them? A huge story in the New York Times saying probably should leave them, except because remember when I said growing up, we would have leaves like 6, 7, 8 inches deep. Like we had so many leaves in our yard. They say if they're too deep, they actually get, the leaves will get moldy.
That's right.
And then that kills the flora, fauna that would otherwise benefit. So it's a fine line.
Also, we are 9 days away from Halloween, and we know that this time of year, you love to tell your ghost stories. Or for some reason, also at Christmas, scary ghost stories and tales of the glories.
Stories of Christmases long, long ago. That's a Christmas carol.
Apparently that used to be a thing.
Remember the 3 ghosts?
Yes. We would like for you to tell us about your ghost story. You have had some sort of brush with the supernatural, or something is going on in your home. Your home, Jerry. And what we want for you to do is share that story with us, and then Amy and I and Matt Pajeski.
Primarily Ronj and Matt. I'm not really a Halloween person.
So
I'm
then
not a ghost person. So it's
it be?
So this show is going to determine whether or not you're lying about your ghost story, or whether or not it actually happened, it's real, or you're losing it. We get to decide. We'll decide if your ghost story is real or not. And all you can do is text it into us at 314-436-7900, or we're going to take calls probably Friday on it, right?
Yeah.
We'll take your calls Friday on this. So be
as
getting
long
your
as
ducks
they're
in
not,
a row.
Stupid.
What?
They will be. I mean, there's a ghost
Well,
story
the
that's
ghost
not stupid.
Whoa, that's a biased opinion over there.
Hey, we're going to go into each one of these stories with an open mind, Matt, and then we'll make a determination. Okay. That's the only way to do it.
You're going to get 5 seconds into someone's voicemail and go, boring.
Didn't happen.
So voice messages too. You can go ahead and leave those now if you want to. At Chris Amy KMOX, tell us your brush with a ghost or a poltergeist or whatever. All right, let us know, and then we'll let you know if you need to seek help. 314-436-7900. The midday midlife is coming up next, and we hear that Gen Z apparently wants to be more like Gen X in one particular way. Really? We'll find out about that next on KMOX.
From Cardinals Nation to Chiefs Kingdom, from the Zoo to Enterprise Center, St. Louis turns to the Gas House Gang for the biggest stories in sports.
The Gas House Gang on KMOX.
It's must-listen radio at noon, hosted by Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Nicholas. 4 of the most informed and trusted voices in St. Louis sports. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM and 11:20 AM. KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it's sunny and 55 degrees, breezy with plenty of sunshine today, a high of 65. Tonight, clear and chilly, a low of 42. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey. If you or someone you know has a home to sell, call Gloria Liu. That's right, Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is here with me now. And when it comes to St. Louis area market conditions, what advice do you have for home sellers in today's market?
Well, most importantly, I understand every seller's situation is different. Some sellers need to sell, and some sellers want to sell. And a lot of my sellers are looking to buy, and they also have a home to sell. My advice in this uncertain market is to get an upfront written guarantee. That way, you know exactly how much you stand to make with your home sale. My guarantee sale offer is simple. I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Take it from me, Debbie Monterey. Sell with certainty and an upfront written guarantee with Gloria Liu. 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Jerry Adler had their kitchen remodeled by 3-Day Kitchen and Bath and talks about the experience.
If we had only met Darren when we started doing this construction, I would have been a lot happier girl than I am now. My husband, when he heard the 3-Day Kitchen and Bath would be in 3 days and out in 3 days, did not believe me.
Did he change his mind?
When he saw that 3-Day Kitchen and Bath came in and was gone in 3 days, he found that that was the best experience we have had. Darren worked with us on our budget so that we could have the kitchen we needed without feeling like we were completely out of our league. They were professional, cared about the other part of the house. The work is beautiful. I wanted to give them the biggest hug ever.
Top quality materials and workmanship. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. On the web at 3daykitchen.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Fridays mean football. From a zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered.
All three, ready?
It's Friday football on KMOX.
Maybe not all hope is lost with younger generations. You know the phrase, kids these days. Well, there's a new phenomenon that the New York Times recently explored about kids these days. Specifically, Gen Z has a deep yearning for a time before this digital deluge, as they put it, before smartphones, before social media. And they actually said it's a nostalgia for a world they never actually lived through. Another way to put it, they said there's a haunting quality to missing something you never experienced. And I will give you a quick anecdote from my experience. Before I was in radio, my whole life was writing and teaching and tutoring. And one of my students who was in 7th grade asked me when I was born. I said 1983, which of course to her, she was born in 2001. I mean, that sounded like the Civil War. The 18 and 1900s go together. And she asked me, what was it like in the olden days? Mm-hmm. She called them the olden days. Yep. And I told her about playing outside and playing with friends. And she said, so you didn't have a phone or anything like that? And she said, and I quote, I wish I lived in the olden days. And that sentiment is not unique to that student, to that experience. As I said, the New York Times is saying this is a nationwide phenomenon where young people feel disconnected from their peers, from life, from childhood experiences because of their connectivity to their phones. Just a couple of data points here. 80%.
This number is, I can't believe this number.
Yes.
I have a difficult time believing this number.
Okay, so this is a Harris poll.
Right.
In partnership with a research team at the New York Times. They took the survey in 2023. 80% of Gen Z adults, that is, people who were born after 1997, are worried that their generation is too dependent on technology. 75% are concerned about social media's impact on young people's mental health, and 58% said that new technologies were more likely to drive people apart than to bring them together.
So before we get to some sound from Dr. Clay Routledge, who was on with Total Information AM, a social psychologist specializing in nostalgia, I just want to say about those two data points that you mentioned. And this is my perception because I don't have kids, and people who have them can tell me that I'm wrong and that that's not what it's like. But my perception is if you were to take away the technology from them, they would have a fit. That they would say, "Oh, you can't take my phone away. You can't take away my iPad. You can't." So I have a hard time believing that number, but I trust surveys. I trust research on this. It just seems like a really difficult number to believe.
Remember, though, and this was hard for me to remember, how old Gen Z adults are. They're 28 years old. The oldest ones are.
Yeah.
So they're Gen Z adults. So it's not taking a phone from a 12-year-old.
But still, but even for me, if you took my phone away, I would lose it.
So
and I'm almost 50.
The New York Times points out, even more striking than those numbers that I gave you, 60% of Gen Z adults wish they could return to a time before everyone was plugged in. And to show you just how fast the world is changing, just how quickly technology is consuming our every thought and every second, they're, yes, saying I want to go back to the 1990s, but they're even hungry for the early 2000s and the early 2010s because it wasn't as bad as it is now in 2011. And that's not that long ago.
So on Total Information, Dr. Routledge was talking about how this nostalgia is actually manifesting itself through physical means.
There is data on consumer trends that suggests that, for many, it's manifesting, but not in an antagonistic way to current technology. So what I mean by that is you might have young people saying, vinyl records are really cool. It's something physically we can have. We can have a collection. It kind of represents my sense of self, like the style I'm going for. But I still want my Spotify because I'm not going to I'm not going to have that kind of, collection or that kind of instant access. You can't carry vinyl records around with you on your phone. And so they're kind of doing both. You're seeing this also with physical book sales. Young people are a big driver of book sales. Board games, you can go to trivia nights, to board game nights, to different things at breweries and bookstores and see people of different ages. But young people are really into it. And again, it's not them saying, I'm not going to play online video games anymore. But they're saying, in addition to that, there's something neat that people used to do where they got together in person, sat around the table, looked at each other and played a board game without social media, without the distractions, and they're trying to incorporate a little bit more of that into their lives.
So that is such a great point. And this story was sparking other responses in different magazines as well, and from psychiatrists and counselors. And one of the responses points out that parents of Gen Zers must learn that their children are internalizing the stories they, meaning the parents, tell about their own childhoods, not simply as sentimental tales, but as a blueprint for building a more balanced and authentic sense of belonging. And why would you say that? Again, the New York Times points out that Gen Z hungers for something, quote, solid, as you might put it. It speaks to a generation struggling to find permanence in a society obsessed with speed, novelty, and image. Today's social internet isn't social, it's isolating. And I've seen that with kids in my own family or extended family or friends who are close. Teenagers are asking questions about, what was it like when you grew up? Literally the way I would ask my grandpa, the way he fought in World War II. What was that like? Do you remember when FDR gave the speech? It's that foreign to them when I talk about growing up without a cell phone, how you would ride your bike to your friend's house and knock on the door just to see if they could come out and play. And I think they long for that.
So as Gen Z, and again, some of them were old enough to kind of remember what it was like before. Many of them are too young to really remember it. I mean, they might have been alive during the time where social media wasn't just in your face and available to you at all times. But I mean, when that happens and you're young, you don't necessarily remember what it was like. I don't remember a lot of things that happened when I was 3. I don't know if I remember anything that happened when I was 3. Might have those vague memories or something, but it's not the same as actually having a nostalgia for it. So I think the real question is going to be, how does Alpha see it when they get to be, that same age, when they're in their mid to late 20s? Do they look back and go, man, I wish we had something like what Gen X did? Like, do they do the same thing or do they not?
I don't know. And I think a lot of that's going to depend on the parenting. Do the parents say, I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to give my child a phone? And a 314 text in, landline phones are on the incline for parents who don't want their children on cell phones. And I just saw that. I don't know if it was 60 Minutes or CBS News. I actually just saw a story on that, on buying a landline phone so you can kind of stay connected. Jonathan Haidt was speaking. I know I reference him a lot from The Anxious Generation. And he said, we're getting to the point where it's even important to understand that not all screen time is equal. When my brother, who's in his early 30s, was a young kid, the word screen time generally meant TV or movies. And Jonathan Haidt is saying, okay, it's okay to watch a movie. Even watching a movie or watching a television show, a long form story is different than that constant hit from scrolling mindlessly through brain rot on TikTok.
Yeah. So one of the benefits that Dr. Rutledge talked about, the psychological benefits of what we're discussing, and told Total Information this.
Well, one thing I think is that we are still physical beings in the physical world. And so there is something about touch, about tactile experiences that is more multisensory, right? Than just viewing or listening to something digitally. And so I do think there's something about that enriched experience of actually having hands-on activities, of being able to take a record, out of its cover, look at the art, put it in the player, start it. And then I also think, in addition to that kind of tactile experience, there's something more mindful or intentional, because it takes a little bit more effort to go, CD. Young people are buying CDs too. It's not just records. Who would have thought the CD would come back? So there's something about putting in a disc or putting on a record or putting in a cassette tape and walking away and being like, now this thing's playing, and I'm not tempted just to, like, in 10 seconds be like, oh, move on to the next song. So I think they're appreciating that sort of almost like self-regulatory component of it. And then and there's other things too, I'm sure, but finally, I want to emphasize the social nature of it, because a lot of these things are being done with other people.
So there is going to be an element here, a major element or a responsibility on the part of parents, that if this matters to you, or if you think this should matter to society, parents are just going to have to do a better job of making sure their children are exposed to these things that we're talking about. You just force it on them. I mean, you can't make them do everything, but say, hey, this is how it used to be here. Hey, listen to this record. We're going to sit down and we're going to do this. Whatever it is, that parents are just going to have to force it on their kids. Because when we were growing up, we were sort of forced to consume a lot of things our parents were consuming. Of course, we could, I could always find times where I was in my room and doing different things than they were, playing video games, and they were.
But you were exposed.
But I was exposed because
yeah.
yes, I had to sometimes watch TV with them.
But
And
even
so
if they
I
weren't-
did see older shows,
And,
right?
yeah, and even if you weren't with them, like we were home, like on a Saturday by ourselves or something, or in the afternoon, I only had like 8 channels, 2, 4, 5, 11, and you couldn't stream what you wanted to watch, so you had to watch what was on. And sometimes you just picked the least boring thing. I didn't have cable until I was 17, 18 years old. So I watched a lot of shows that I wouldn't have otherwise watched just because it was on. I couldn't pick on demand what I want to watch.
And then we're not, I mean, we're talking not just about older TV shows. We're just talking about other stuff that you normally wouldn't be exposed to if you're a 10-year-old. You just have to force it on them, and then they can build an appreciation, hopefully, for what you used to watch or what you liked or listened to.
Well, it's funny. I've heard a lot of parents of kids and kids who are in high school now or in college say, "Oh my gosh, my son or my daughter thinks they quote unquote discovered Led Zeppelin or discovered Queen." Yeah. And one reason why I think we're using the word discover, like they think, "Hey, Dad, Mom, have you ever heard of this guy?" It's because they, as you mentioned, were never forced to listen to what Mom and Dad listened to. When we were in the station wagon, Dad was in charge. And that's why, or Mom was in charge. And that's why I know a lot of Genesis and Roberta Flack and Billy Joel, because I was a kindergartner singing those songs because Mom and Dad were in charge of the music when you were in the station wagon. And I think younger kids, it's not their fault. It's our fault. We unleashed this technology on them. We allowed them to isolate. They don't realize, no. We've all been living in this world with all these different artists, shows, and movies. You're the one that has been isolating. You're the one in your little echo chamber.
Gas House Gang is coming up at 12 o'clock. It'll be Tom Ackerman and me. We're going to talk sports with you during your lunch hour. We're going to speak to Howard Richards, Mizzou football radio analyst. He'll be with us at 12:30. Tigers have a big game coming up against Vanderbilt this weekend. We'll discuss that. Gas House Gang at 12, but it's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji with you until then on KMOX.
This is Kyle Bush with Krentz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. How many times have you changed jobs over the years? If you're like many professionals, you may have left behind one or more 401ks. Unwatched, unmanaged, and potentially your largest retirement asset. Just because it's out of sight doesn't mean it should be out of mind. Let's make sure it's working as hard for your future as you are. Your goals, our mission, start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial is not a broker dealer.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, KingdomOX.com/events.
The Musial Awards celebrates its 20th year on Saturday, November 22nd at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event hosted right here in St. Louis. It's a night to be entertained and inspired. Tickets at musialawards.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
At LensSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at Lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here, and I just wanted to let you know that FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams in all your favorite sports. And with FanDuel, there are just so many ways for you to get in on the action. And you can check it out at FanDuel.com/Missouri, where you can download the app. You can bet on everything from the money line to over-unders to which team's going to win it all on a futures bet. Plus, with live betting, you can pick which player is going to score the next touchdown or which player is going to hit the next home run and the one after that and the one after that and so on. And I've been with FanDuel since the very beginning. I've been using the FanDuel Sportsbook app for years when I've been in states that allow me to play, and it's a blast. It's super easy, just as easy to get your money out as it is to put your money in, by the way. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to download the app. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and older, present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Text messages 314-436-7900. This message in all caps.
Uh-oh.
No, no, no. 4 exclamation points.
Oh.
You don't blow neighbors' leaves back into their yards. Come on. So,
bit of a pause there. I didn't like.
Did I? Well, I had to clear. I was clearing my throat. We had a texter who said that when the leaves fall into his yard from his neighbor's tree,
well,
that he just blows them back into the neighbor's yard. And I say that is perfectly
I think the
fine.
all caps guy obviously is the neighbor.
Yeah, well then stop letting your then you go over to your neighbor's yard and you rake the leaves out of it and deal with them.
At the end of every summer, tie a little string to each leaf on that tree so they can only blow so far.
Each individual leaf?
Yes.
There you go.
That would keep the leaves in your yard.
So let me put it to you this way, this no person.
Okay.
If your neighbor is not allowed to come over into your yard and cut down your tree, which he's not, then you are not allowed to allow your leaves into his yard without him doing something about it, like blowing them back into your property. So mind your tree.
Mind your tree. Speaking of never mind. But 618.
I know what you're about to say. Go ahead, Amy.
If you want to blow the mind of a young person,
good Lord.
If you want to blow their minds, tell them there used to be pay toilets.
Where?
And here's the thing. I don't know where in the U.S. where there used to be pay toilets, but I'll tell you this.
In Europe,
all
there
over
are.
Europe and
Yeah.
Asia, there are pay toilets. And it is a Swiss franc or 2 Swiss francs to go to the bathroom in Switzerland. I had to carry around. I feel like half of my trip expense in Switzerland was paying to use the bathroom. Now, were the bathrooms pristine? Yes. Were they clean? Were they sleek? Were they efficient?
Sleek.
Absolutely. Well,
I
it's
love
the
a good
Swiss.
sleek bathroom.
You need a good sleek bathroom at any rate, but you have to pay. Yeah, we paid for toilets the whole trip. You also have to pay for water, like tap water.
Mm-hmm.
And they ask you if you want flat water or water with gas.
I would rather.
And I would say I'll take water with gas, please.
What
Which
does
of
that
course,
mean?
It's
Bubbles?
yeah, sparkling water.
Okay. It's not stinky water.
It's not, but I mean, I paid 9 Swiss francs for flat water.
I'll take the free bathroom and I'll go pee in a gross room and get the hell out of there. I'd rather just do that. I'm going to pay to go to the bathroom.
White Castle in Maplewood, you used to have to pay 10 cents to get into the bathroom.
Oh, I know a lot of places like Whole Foods. You have to get a code if you want to use the bathroom, like from your receipt, or you go ask somebody who works
not the Brentwood Whole Foods.
Well, the one in the Central West End.
Not Brentwood.
Or you used to. You may not have to any longer. All right, let's do some sports. Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji, on the Gas House Gang in a matter of moments. We will talk to Howard Griffith, who is going to talk Mizzou football with us. And we're excited about that because, man, oh man, the Tigers are really good. But if you missed anything here on the show today, let's tell you about the podcast place, Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow with you at 9 o'clock on 104.1 FM KMOX. No. You don't blow neighbors.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now matters more than ever because now we have new treatments that could change everything. This is Megan Lynch. Join me